Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the Silent Pocket Faraday Collection 20-liter backpack. So if you guys don't know, this is a company that produces various types of bags as well as cases for different smartphones that protects against RFID as well as other types of signals from passing through, and effectively creates a hardware-based solution that prevents theft of information and data. So it creates data security by form of not necessarily software being really enhanced and brick-walled, but offering again a material that prevents any signal from entering or leaving. So in this particular backpack, you can put in, your phone. You can also put in wallet, your credit cards, in addition to a computer, and it blocks out any types of signals such as cellular connectivity, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, so on and so forth. So this is what the packaging is like. It's pretty simple, and the backpack itself retails for about $130, which at first may seem a little bit expensive, but it's actually not that bad considering it's also a waterproof backpack that actually looks pretty clean and stylish. And of course, Silent Pocket might also be targeting other corporate institutions in addition to government agencies. Taking the backpack out of the packaging here, this is what the pamphlet looks like. Again, it claims to block out all types of cellular and wireless data, whether it's GPS, RFID, or NFC. And we're going to do a little bit of testing just by putting a phone inside and trying to call it and see if there's any signals, if it's going to pick up, as well as turn on NFC and try and tap on it using another NFC phone to see if any data is transferred to make sure. And it's basically just a shielding and a material that's patented by the company to create this completely off-the-grid solution. And otherwise, the backpack itself still is relatively lightweight, so it's not too ridiculously heavy either. And you can also seal it up to put it into this very unconventional shape, which is again a little bit stylish. On the front here, we have just a logo. It says MTG, and there's a shield logo. And again, this entire material is a little bit shiny. It's also going to be resistant to rain, so it is slightly waterproof as well. And we have a few pockets on the front that I can easily open up to have access to some quick compartments. The first one here actually extends all the way below, and there's another little compartment at the bottom that is actually very shallow. So this is probably used to capture or put in, let's say, a smartphone, pencil, something that's a little bit more lightweight and not as large in terms of overall dimensions and size. Flipping it around, it looks conventional at the bottom. There's plenty of padding for your back as well as on the shoulder straps, so it still remains pretty comfortable even if you have a laptop and, let's say, a book or something inside. But it gets slightly more quirky looking as we get to the top, and you can tell that this is what the bag looks like. We have a main compartment on the inside for larger products that you basically lift up, and it actually is attached closed using these two straps and buckles on the sides. But you can open it up, and it gets much taller than a regular backpack, and we seal it up like this. So the design is almost like a grocery bag in some instances. Securely closes this internal compartment and makes it impossible for anyone to get inside or to steal something, since it doesn't even have zippers. There's physical buckles on the sides. And from here, we can tell that this is what the internal compartment is like. This is probably where you have the thickest layer of the shielding material. In fact, there are probably multiple layers because it actually feels quite hefty here. And as I'm moving the fabric around, it feels like there's different layers inside as well that, again, completely blocks off any type of signals and puts you off the grid. Upon closer inspection, one thing that I find kind of cool about the design is you can actually roll up the top in several different ways. Not necessarily in the way that it came assembled, which was with the two straps on the left and the right. You can see that right now we don't have it closed, but we have an interesting shape at on the top like this, where we roll it basically horizontally and then strap it together using another one in the center. So it looks like in the pictures if you have objects placed inside. So in this particular mode, it's able to hold more stuff, and it still offers the same kind of security as well, since essentially the entire compartment has been sealed off. It doesn't have a zipper, so you have to unhook this from the top here and then unroll it several different times to have access to the internal compartments. One thing that it lacks right from the bat, however, is it doesn't have pockets on the outside for holding things like water bottles. So if you are using this really as a conventional everyday backpack, it does miss some of those ordinary features, also things like headphone ports. Still, again, its main emphasis is going to be on that additional security and off-the-grid capabilities. So we're going to test some of those claims next. So let's start with Bluetooth. I have Bluetooth turned on and discoverable on both phones, and this is the Meizu. You can see it's showing up on available devices on this device on the right here, Meizu Pro 7, and again, Bluetooth is turned on and discoverable. I'm now going to put the Meizu phone into the Faraday cage. I'm going to tuck it inside, close that off. Now I'm going to refresh this page, tap on search for devices once more, And after refreshing the page here, tapping on search for devices, you can see that the Meizu Pro 7 has disappeared from my list of available devices. So indeed, it seems to be quite effective in terms of blocking out the signal. Next, we're going to try the NFC. I have a Nokia N9, a very old device now, but again, it has NFC on board, and an Oppo Find 7, which also has NFC activated. If I tap these two phones together, you hear this beeping on both devices that it's recognized NFC and it's trying to send information to each other. Now I'm going to put one phone into the bag. It's going to be the Nokia. So sliding in the phone face down so the contacts can still align correctly. So right now it's about here. And if I tap it on here, you can see that nothing is happening in terms of detection. I don't hear any sounds either from the Nokia. So again, there is no more NFC capability from both of these phones for sharing information. Something I want to clarify, however, is that the two pockets on the outside for easy convenience, this one as well as the small one on the bottom here, are not going to shield off signals. So these two do not have actually the same Faraday shield inside. So if I put it in here as just a felt material, you'll see that if I tap it along the Oppo, it can still pass through NFC along with Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, so on and so forth. So it doesn't work if you put it on this outside layer. Therefore, you probably wouldn't want to put, let's say, phones or credit cards outside here. This would probably just be for paper documents, books, things like that. And so as far as the claims of being able to shield off signals completely, I would say that Silent Pocket have done a great job. The only thing that I would want maybe in a future generation model, if they wanted a more premium version, for instance, is the additional of some additional pockets inside. Since, again, this is really just a layer that prevents radiation, and then maybe on top of this layer, they could have added even more side panels and pockets that would have been a little bit easier to store separate items and if you have multiple devices put into this main compartment. So for instance, if I have a phone in addition to, let's say, a tablet and a computer that I want to be completely protected inside, I would basically just pop this entire thing into this main compartment without any divisions in between them, which can get a little bit messy inside. Thankfully, the padding is, again, pretty generous in terms of the thickness, so it doesn't, get damaged if you walk around. It absorbs the shock. The fabric is pretty soft, things like that. But again, I do wish that there was some more internal pockets inside of the Faraday cage. Otherwise, at 20 liters, the size of the backpack really isn't an issue. It holds more than enough content for most people, including, again, their electronics, books, as well as other documents without any problems at all. And again, it's a pretty stylish bag as well, at least in my opinion. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Silent Circle 20-liter Faraday backpack is concerned. Overall, I think this is actually a pretty good value as a waterproof as well as an off-the-grid backpack to consider if you want complete privacy. You can check out more details in the links down below. But for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the Silent Circle Travel Backpack.